right. I am AESD Board President Ryan Rellis. I call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in person and by means of live video broadcast on our Anaheim Elementary YouTube channel for members of the public. Para español puede conectarse por teléfono de la siguiente manera. Llame al 915-308-0215. Cuando se la pida, introduzco el PIN 189-738-269 y la tecla numeral. Any member of the public has an opportunity to address the board in person during the agendized public comment session by 6:30 p.m. Let's begin with the board roll call. To my far right, your left, I have board member Jackie Philbeck.
Present.
Board member Juan G. Alvarez.
Present.
Board member Mark A. Lopez.
Present.
Board clerk Dr. Paolo Macales.
Hey, everybody.
I am the board president, Ryan Rellis. Item 1B, public speakers for closed session agenda items. There are none. Let us go ahead and adjourn to close session. The board will adjourn to discuss the following items: public employment, public employee discipline dismissal, and conference with our labor negotiator. May I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Lopez. Can I get a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Seconded by Trustee Alvarez. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's adjourn to closed session.
They lost Jackie. Sorry.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the Anaheim Elementary School District June 12th Board Meeting. I am AESD Board President Ryan Rellis, and I call this meeting to order at 6:32. This meeting is being conducted in person and by means of live video broadcast on our Anaheim Elementary YouTube channel for members of the public. Spanish interpretation of the board meeting is available to attendees. Para español, puede conectarse por teléfono de la siguiente manera. Llame al 915-308-0215. Cuando se la pida, introduzca el PIN 189-738-269 y la tecla numeral. Let us begin with the flag salute. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. All right, let's go ahead and get started with introductions and roll call. To my far right, your left, we have board member Ms. Jackie Philbeck,
Good evening, everyone.
board member Juan Alvarez,
Good evening, everyone.
board member Mark Lopez,
Good evening, everyone.
board clerk Dr. Paulo Macales.
Hey, everybody.
I am your board president, Ryan Rellis. We have, to my left, we have Dr. Christopher Downing, superintendent.
Good evening, everyone.
We have Dr. Mary O'Neill Grace, the assistant superintendent of educational services.
Hello, everyone.
We have Dina Milland, the assistant superintendent of human resources.
Good evening.
Jesse Chavarria, the assistant superintendent of administrative services.
Hi, everyone.
We have, back to my far right over here, we have Ms. Tracy Golden, the senior director of school safety and operations.
Good evening, everyone.
Belinda Gordillo, the communications coordinator.
Good evening, everyone.
Yesenia Mancha, our senior administrative assistant.
Good evening, everybody.
In our back, we have our interpreters this evening, Alina Avaler Garcia and Jasmine Anaya. We have, to my far left on the very end, our technology support technician, Janice Cato. And in the very far back, where you can't see him, our media services, Brian Brooks. Moving on, in regards to a report of closed session actions taken. Dealing with public employment. On a vote of 4-1, the Board of Education took action in closed session to approve the employment of Mr. Jesse Chavarria as the new superintendent of the Anaheim Elementary School District effective July 1st, 2024. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Just so you know, item 4B was removed at the request of a board member prior to the adoption of the agenda. Can I please someone make a motion to revise the agenda to table and postpone the special order of business 4B to June 26, 2024?
Since I asked it, I'll make the motion to revise.
That is moved by trustee Philbeck,
Second.
seconded by Dr. Macales. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. All.
Discussion in, I was just going to say we're going to do it on the next.
Oh, yes.
That was my only discussion, on the 26th.
Correct. I'm sorry. I thought I'd read that on the June 26, 2024. Our special order of business, we're going to go ahead and get started with recognition of Disneyland Resort. Dr. Christopher Downing, Superintendent.
Good evening, board members and Anaheim community. Through a donation from First Book and in collaboration with Disney Publishing, Disney volunteers helped distribute 2,330 books to 5th and 6th graders at Sunkist Elementary School and Patrick Henry Elementary School. In addition to the book giveaway, Sunkist Elementary School, Patrick Henry Elementary School, and Lowera Elementary School were each surprised with $15,000 in First Book Marketplace credits, which can be used to purchase new books for classrooms and libraries. How about a round of applause for that, everybody? So this evening, we'd like to extend our gratitude to Disney and First Book for their generous donation to our students. And joining us this evening, we have Raul Aquina Rojas, who is the 2024-2025 Disney Ambassador. And come on up, Raul. And we'd also just like to recognize the members of the DLR Corporate Social Responsibility Team, Larry Labrado, Gina Ariola, Rafa Barone, Caitlin Finnerty, and Natalie Guzman. How about a round of applause for all of them?
Hello, everyone. My name is Raul Aquino Rojas, and I am one of the Disney ambassadors of Disneyland Resort for 2024-2025. And on behalf of the Disneyland Resort, I would like to thank the Anaheim Elementary School Board for this recognition. I am joined here today by my colleagues Larry Labrado, Gina Arreola, Rafa Barron, Natalie Guzman, and Caitlin Finnerty. These are the cast members that make the magic that lead our Disney Volunteers project that positively impact in our community. This book donation is part of a larger effort to support our Anaheim community. Since 2000, Disney has donated millions of books to First Book, and in 2023, we collaborated with First Book to distribute 40,000 books to local students, teachers, families in Anaheim and surrounding cities. As students head into the summer break, we hope to inspire a love of reading through the magic of storytelling. And we'd be remiss if we did not say a huge congratulations to Jesse Chavarria on your appointment as Anaheim Elementary School District's next superintendent. So congratulations.
Board members, we're going to ask you to come up.
All right, moving on to C. It is recommended the Board of Education approve a contract with Jesus Chavarria as the superintendent of the Anaheim Elementary School District effective July 1st, 2024. Now, prior to the vote, I'm going to read what is required by law. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54953, Subdivision C3, before taking final action of an employment agreement for a local agency executive or a salary or benefit increase for a current local agency executive, the board must provide an oral summary of the salary and or fringe benefits for local agency executives. Local agency executive is defined by Government Code Section 3511.1, subdivision D1 through 3 as a chief executive officer, a deputy chief executive officer, or an assistant chief executive officer of the local agency. In our district, we consider the superintendent, assistant superintendents, and any other administrators and managers who are department heads and or employed by an individual contract. For consideration of the board tonight is approval of the new contract language for Jesse, who is a local agency executive within the means of the law. According for this contract, we will read the following information into the record. The position of the local agency, which is for the position of superintendent. The term of the new contract is from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026. The salary to be paid to the superintendent is $280,000 and a $2,500 upon execution of the contract. And other elements of compensation in the contract include a $5,000 for coaching and the same composite health and dental insurance and leave rights granted to other certificated management employees, including the opportunity of the superintendent and his eligible spouse to participate in medical and dental programs to the same extent as the other districts certificated. May I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Dr. Magalis.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Lopez. Is there any discussion? For this one, we will do a roll call vote since it was not a unanimous in closed session. Trustee Philbeck.
Yes.
Trustee
No.
Alvarez.
No.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Dr. McCullis.
Aye.
And I too vote aye. Congratulations.
Board President Ruelas, can I just say a few things?
You definitely can, soon to be official superintendent, but wait, let me finish up my spiel. It is my pleasure to announce a new significant chapter for our district with Mr. Jesse as our superintendent. I would like to thank our Educational Support Services, ESS, for their exceptional coordination and diligent efforts throughout our entire superintendent search process. ESS has been instrumental in facilitating this comprehensive search, gathering valuable input from a wide array of different stakeholders. This engagement phase ran from March 25th through April 9th of 2024 and included virtual and in-person focus groups, one-on-one interviews, and a community forum. ESS gathered input from 612 online survey respondents, summarizing diverse perspectives and consistent themes across our community. A total of 172 participants contributed through individual and group interviews, including the Board of Trustees, our superintendent, senior cabinet members, staff members from across the district, and various committees including LCAP, DAC, DLAC, PLI, PTA members, Community Advisory Committee members, association leaders, and community partners. We sincerely thank everyone who took part in this process. After an extensive and thoughtful process, we are proud to announce that it was Mr. Jesse Chavarria as the new superintendent of the Anaheim Elementary School District. Mr. Chavarria will bring a wealth of experience and deep commitment to our community, embodying the qualities and characteristics our stakeholders truly value. We are very confident that his leadership will guide AESD through future challenges and continue to build on our strengths, fostering a nurturing and innovative educational environment for all of our students. Now, Mr. Chavarria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Board President Ruelas. I just want to thank the board for this opportunity to lead this fantastic district as the next superintendent. And I'm looking forward to governing with the board to fulfill our district mission, right? And focusing on the personal growth of every student through developing their confidence and enthusiasm for learning and providing each student with an excellent, educational experience. I am humbled and honored to represent the board and to have students and families see themselves in the new superintendent and believe que sí se puede, that it can be done. I want to acknowledge the great work that our current superintendent, Dr. Downing, has done to make our district amazing. And as I take on the baton, I want to just reaffirm, Dr. Downing, that I look forward to continuing that amazing work and hopefully finding opportunities to make us even more amazing if possible. For the staff and community members present and those watching through our live stream, I want to thank you for your kind words of support that you have shared with me the last few days. They are greatly appreciated. And I truly believe that every year as a district, we should have a focus or a theme. I want to share that our district theme for 24-25 will be growing stronger every day. So more information to come as we begin the school year. And once again, board, I want to thank you for your trust and giving me this opportunity to lead once again this fantastic district. Thank you.
All right, moving on to news and updates. Parent leadership group updates, there are none. Our association updates. Cindy Tamodi will provide an association update from AEEA. Welcome, Madam President, right?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Cindy Tamodi, and I am the new AEEA president. I'd like to take this opportunity to briefly introduce myself. I have been married to my wonderful and supportive husband, Brian, for 15 years, and we'll be celebrating that milestone by going on an Alaskan cruise this July. We have 2 boys, Devin, who is 13 and finishing 7th grade tomorrow, and Matthew, who is 11 and finishing 5th grade last week. And we also have 4 cats who we love dearly. I've been told that we're not the crazy cat family until we have more cats than humans in our home, so if you're worried, it's okay. I'm proud to say that I have been with AESD for 20 years now and have been at multiple sites including Gwynn, Jefferson, Key, and Ponderosa. I started as a class size reduction teacher and have taught 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, kinder, TK, and just stepped away from being an intervention TOSA. I have served on multiple committees within the district, including Insurance Committee, Curriculum Instruction and Assessment Committee, Community Schools Steering Committee, and numerous leadership interview panels. I am always happy to help wherever there is a need, and have always firmly believed in working together with the district to make positive things happen. Congratulations to Jesse Chavarria on becoming our newest superintendent. I look forward to continuing the positive working relationship that our association has with district administration, cabinet, and our board by having regular meetings to collaborate and problem solve together. I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the board and our current superintendent, Dr. Downing, for approving parameters that enabled us to sign a tentative agreement for the 2024-2025 school year just earlier today. Settling before the school year has even started has not been accomplished in many years. This will most certainly boost the morale of our members as they start the upcoming school year. So once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Knowing that we were able to reach an agreement that addressed our unit members' #1 priority, health benefits, is absolutely amazing. Dr. Downing, you have been instrumental in creating a collaborative working relationship with AEA leadership, and for that, we are grateful. We wish you and your wife all the best as you begin your next chapter as retired educators. Jesse, as we say goodbye to Dr. Downing, we say thank you to you, and we look forward to continuing to enhance the positive working relationship that we have with you and your team as you take on this new role as superintendent. Having someone whom we have all have a well-established and positive working relationship with will most certainly be an asset for us all. As we both move forward in our new leadership roles, I look forward to us continuing doing amazing things together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Miss Maribel Fernandez, who will be provide an association update for CSEA. Welcome, Ms. Fernandez. Ms. Maria as well. Welcome, welcome. The dynamic duo.
I can't do anything without Maria. I don't know why she tries. Well, first off, we'd like to take this hello, everybody. President Ruelas, board members, cabinet. You can't hear me? Thank you. Ladies. First of all, we'd like to start off by thanking Dr. Downing for all that you've done for CSEA and working together collaboratively with us. And you were really instrumental in my first year of becoming a CSEA chapter president, and I will always appreciate the hard work that you did to help me out and to get me going and get me to where I needed to be. So I appreciate you for that. We're going to miss you. We hope that you do enjoy your retirement and that at least you get to go to the Bahamas and forget about everybody here. But anyway, so congratulations on your retirement again, and thank you so much for supporting CSEA. And then also we'd like to extend our congratulations to Mr. Jesse Chavarria as the new superintendent also. There were many members that wanted to come and support tonight, but it's summer and they decided to go to the beach. But I did get several little letters that, if you don't mind, I would like to read. I have one really quick that says, congratulations to Mr. Chavarria. Excited to see the changes to come about the 24-25 school year. This one is on behalf of the bus drivers. On behalf of the remarkable bus drivers at AESD, we want to congratulate Mr. Jesus Chavarria. We had the pleasure of working under his amazing leadership while he was the Director of Transportation. His open door policy made us all feel welcomed and seen. We are excited that he will be AESD new superintendent. And then this is a personal one from our VP2, Monica De La Cruz, who could not be here. I wanted to congratulate Mr. Chavarria on a well-deserved promotion. You have inspired many with your leadership and guidance over the 25 years of service to AESD. Your innovative way of thinking is what established the first dual language program back in 2006. 18 years later, we have a thriving award-winning program that offers our scholars Spanish, Korean, and Chinese Mandarin. Working under your new leadership, when I was a bus driver, I got to experience your strong moral compass firsthand. Now, as part of the CSEA e-board, I see those same values in how you collaboratively work with us. We are lucky to be able to look forward to the future with such a visionary leader. Then we have Katie, who's also in transportation, who wasn't able to join us. I would like to congratulate Jesse Chavarria on being the new AESD superintendent. His hard work and dedication to this district has shown throughout his years of service. From his years as a principal, from helping shape the young minds of the future, his years as transportation director, helping to grow access to the new programs throughout the district, to his years as assistant superintendent. The way he took charge and handled things during the pandemic, during the very beginning of having just got the position. The way he works with staff to help them grow as individuals and as teams. Jesse is humble and patient, and I couldn't think of a more deserving and qualified person for this position. I'm gonna not continue with so many, but I want to, another one where somebody said, I want to thank you for the opportunities you've given me, and I'm looking forward to the next school year with you as our superintendent at AESD. You're a great leader and will do great things for AESD. And then I want to extend my congratulations to Jesse on being selected as AESD's superintendent. I trust that his commitment to the students in the Anaheim community will have a positive impact, and that his extensive experience and skills will help guide the district forward. And then I do have, I want to read something from one of our classified management employee that is retiring this year and couldn't be here, but he's also for transportation. And he was really wanting us to express, his, I guess his heartfelt congratulations, which is in this letter, and he asked for me to read this for him. So on behalf of Rob Henson, our fleet supervisor, who will be retiring on June 28th, I am writing to extend my heartfelt congratulations to Mr. Jesse Chavarria on his appointment as the new superintendent of Anaheim Elementary School District. Having had the privilege of working alongside Jesse during his tenure as transportation director, I am thrilled to witness his continued dedication and leadership in this new role. From the moment Jesse assumed the position of transportation director, it was evident that positive change was on the horizon. Our department, previously fragmented, underwent a transformation under his guidance. Jesse fostered a sense of unity, turning our team into a cohesive family where every member felt valued and essential to our collective success. Jesse's leadership style was characterized by mentorship and empowerment. He invested in developing the skills and capacities of his team members, providing us with opportunities to grow as leaders. His unwavering belief in the importance of collaboration between transportation and the schools was instrumental in enhancing the home-to-school experience for our students, making it nothing short of exceptional. His journey from transportation director to assistant superintendent of administrative services speaks volumes about his tireless commitment to excellence. Throughout his career, Jesse has consistently demonstrated his passion for serving the community and improving the educational landscape for our children. As Jesse takes on the role of superintendent, I have no doubt that his hard work, dedication, and visionary leadership will greatly benefit the Anaheim Elementary School District community. Under his guidance, I am confident that the district will continue to thrive and flourish. Once again, congratulations to Jesse Chavarria on this well-deserved appointment. I look forward to witnessing the positive impact he will undoubtedly make in his new position. I'll read one more and then that's it, because we'll be here forever. Jesse Chavarria's journey in education began as a teacher where he had the privilege of working directly with students and witnessing firsthand the transformative power of education. This experience shaped his educational philosophy and commitment to fostering an environment where every student can thrive. Throughout his career, he has been driven by a passion for learning and a dedication to supporting students, educators, and parents. As a teacher, he learned the importance of creating engaging and inclusive environments. As he transitioned into leadership roles, he focused on developing structures and policies that empower our educational partners and provide students with the resources they need to succeed. Jesse is an approachable, knowledgeable, and visionary leader who, as AESD's next superintendent, will continue to move us forward and guide us into our next era. His ability to connect with people at all levels, combined with his deep understanding of educational practices and future trends, makes him uniquely qualified for this role. Jesse's forward-thinking approach and strategic mindset ensure that he can navigate challenges and seize opportunities, fostering an environment of growth and innovation. With his leadership, we can anticipate significant advancements and bright future for our institution. Wow. So I don't really have to say much because those letters say it all from many of our members. And as Cindy Timoti would like to say congratulations for the new president of AEA. So I agree with everything she said about Mr. Chavarria. So we look forward to working with you, to working with your team. You have a great team with you already. We look forward to great things happening for next year. We hope that the collaboration continues. We want to make sure that everybody, what is it that we're looking for? She said the word. That everybody continues to see the kindness in you every day, and that you are approachable, and that you are humble, and that we are able to come to you and talk to you whenever any one of us needs to discuss anything or just when we need somebody to lend an ear. So thank you very much. We appreciate Dr. Downing once again, and congratulations on your superintendent position.
All right, moving on to district news and updates. Ms. Belinda Gordillo, Communications Coordinator, will present the district news and updates this evening.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Downing, cabinet, and guests. My name is Belinda Gordillo, and I'm excited to share the news and updates for the last month. First, we want to start off with congratulating Madison Elementary. They got the most improved attendance in May. And as you know, every month, our esteemed cabinet members go to the school that has the most improved attendance, and they treat them to paletas. So that was an exciting day. And on May 9th, the SFACE, the School Family and Community Engagement, under Dr. Moreno, had their Parent Leadership Institute Gala, and they had over 150 PLI volunteers. So these parents receive great resources to learn about how to navigate the road to college for their students, and they are also the bridge between the SFACE and the parents. So this team is very valuable, and we celebrate them yearly. And on May 11th, Betsy Ross and Villages hosted a mental health awareness fair, and this helped to kick off Mental Health Awareness Week. So there was a variety of events throughout the whole district where we were shedding awareness on mental health. And you already heard about our Disneyland Resort and Disney Publishing book giveaway that occurred. Here's just some fun pictures. I was there at the 2 different schools, and the kids were so happy. They were able to go around and pick up 4 or 5 books each, and they gave, quite a huge donation at the schools, and then, like Dr. Downing mentioned, they gave another $15,000 of credit for 3 different schools to get books for their school. So thank you again for that. And then on May 19th, there was a 32nd Anaheim's Children Festival, which took place at Pearson Park, and AESD had a strong presence, showcasing the Korean DLI program, arts, and music. And then on May 20th, Anaheim Union High School graduates came back to AESD schools where they reconnected with their old teachers, and they got to visit with the students and do the cap and gown walk, and that was exciting. There's a young lady there that's there with her little brother in the picture, so he's part of AESD, and so they were there to really just, motivate, I guess, our students and show them, what it's going to be like for them as well. Did I skip one? No. And then on May 21st, we had our groundbreaking ceremony at Revere, which was a great day to celebrate. There's going to be a new multi-purpose room that's going to be used for a lot of different activities in the future. And we had our amazing rock band perform, and so that was a great day as well. And then on May 21st, our very own Dr. Downing was recognized by the city of Anaheim. So he was recognized for his 35 years of education, in education, and also for his 6 years with the Anaheim Elementary School District. So congratulations again to Dr. Downing for that recognition. And then on May 22nd, our HR team hosted the 2024 colloquium with the theme that was Teaching is a Gift That We Share Every Day. And this is where 25 2-year participating teachers and 17 support providers came to celebrate. And so it was really heartfelt. Everyone had nice things to say about one another. And then we had our esteemed board members join us and also share some great thoughts that day. And on the 22nd, Anaheim Elementary Succeeds program hosted the soccer championship at Glover Stadium. There was over 700 students that participated, whether they were in the soccer game or cheer, baile, or band. And Franklin Elementary won the championship, so we say congratulations to them and congratulations to our Anaheim Elementary Succeeds program for a really fun event. And then on May 29th, there was a lot of celebrations in May. And this one, again, from Schools Family Community Engagement, where our community schools assistants who help with this program every single day after school, they were recognized, as well as our schools assistants, community schools assistants, leadership assistants, FACES, and then we also recognize our retirees. And speaking of retirees, last Friday we had an amazing event at the Angel Stadium. We celebrated 71 retirees that from AESD. There was actually more than 100 that retired, but 71 came out and they were recognized and they received recognitions from Assembly Member Avelino Valencia, and it was a great afternoon for all. And that's it. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Great, thank you, Melinda. Moving on to public speakers. Speakers on agenda or non-agenda items. Our first one is going to be Crystalline Reynolds Rivas, and then afterwards we have G. Tran. And just a reminder that you have a total of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We have 3 minutes total, but when it's at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, then we put up the yellow card to just give you heads up.
All right, bear with me. I'm going to try my best. Okay.
Take it away.
All right. Good evening, AESD Board. My name is Crystalline, and I am the parent of 2 children that attend the dual immersion program at Benito Juarez. I serve on the school PTA board, and I am a passionate arts professional and advocate. I stand before you today to emphasize the crucial importance of arts education in our schools. With the passage of Prop 28 in November 2022 by an overwhelming majority, the highest approval in state proposition history, we have a unique opportunity to enhance our educational environment by properly allocating funds to incorporate arts educators into our schools. The importance of arts education cannot be overstated. Arts is a fundamental component of a well-rounded education, and honestly, it's a life skill. It plays a critical role in promoting social emotional learning, a priority of Juarez in the 23-24 school year and the upcoming year. Without integrating more arts into our curriculum, our efforts to promote SEL will fall short. Arts education fosters creativity, self-expression, and emotional resilience, helping students navigate their feelings and develop empathy for others. During the past school year, I volunteered over 1,000 hours at Juarez, with the majority of that time to creative and artistic projects. Students and staff repeatedly expressed their desire for more arts in their school life. Together, we accomplished creating mosaic buddy bench, props for assemblies, and arts lunch club, and many more. I fostered a sense of community and collaboration amongst students, and it's clear that students yearn and thrive for an environment where they can explore their creativity and express themselves freely and safely. Prop 28 was passed to provide additional funding for arts ed in K-12 schools. These funds are not meant to pay for existing programs, but to hire new arts professionals and experts in addition to our current programs. AESD and all districts statewide will be audited to ensure compliance. While we do have an established and renowned music program, we must also focus on hiring new, highly qualified visual arts educators to help us build a comprehensive program to meet our goal. Imagine every student feels safe, included, and supported, where teachers are empowered with the resources they need to inspire their students. We can achieve this by prioritizing arts education. Arts can create an inclusive space for all students, allowing them to express themselves and see their identities reflected and respected in the curriculum. Inclusive arts practices ensure equal access to the arts for all students, including marginalized groups and those with disabilities or mental health differences. I'm going to skip ahead. Therefore, I urge you to use the funds from Prop 28 wisely. Support your underpaid and underappreciated general education teachers by providing them, can I add a couple of things? Okay.
Finish it up. 30 more seconds.
I'm sorry, I have a few. Okay, so what is the district's vision for expanding and sustaining arts education offerings? How are school sites planning to expand arts education with Prop 28 AMS? And will our schools collaborate with or share resources with other schools in our district? And is there anything I can do to help you? Because I would love to. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rivas.
Yeah.
Our next speaker, Ms. Tran. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, President Reyes, Board of Trustee members. This is my second time being up here. Last month was when I first got to speak in a public forum, so I truly appreciate the time you're giving us to speak from the public. The reason why I'm here today is really I was one of 6 people who spoke last week about the transition of our principal, Dr. Song, and some of the steps, mitigate some of the transition plan steps and why the principles are moved around. And it was regarding policy 4314. And we asked the board, we asked for some information, some feedback that we can share with our community. It was a new change. Any change is new, but we want to adopt it. And we wanted to understand the philosophy behind it, why it's there, why the principles are changed around specifically for those locations, and that were changed. Not that it shouldn't happen, but we wanted more information, and we felt that it was a bit lacking in what the responses that we received. The policy, as it reads, seems like it's for the administrative and the staff, so that they can gain experience and different work environments, not necessarily to promote equality or for the students. So we want to understand that part of the policy and understand the effectiveness. What are the criteria of effectiveness for this policy? How do you measure that? How do you measure that the students what are the key performance measures and criteria that you make these changes and shifts with the principals and administrative? So those are the kind of feedback and communication we'd like to have. I'm not sure if my emails are coming through. I send them and I get no response back, but from Dr. Downing. And so I think I individually send them to the website. So if the website's not working and those messages are not coming through, I'd like to find that out too. So thank you for your time. I truly appreciate it, and I love the feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tran. Thank you to both our speakers for being here this evening and speaking on behalf of your passions, and that we appreciate that. Moving on to our superintendent's report, starting with SELPA, our annual service plan and annual budget plan. Dr. Mary Grace, the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, and Mr. Matthew Slusser, the Director of Fiscal Administrative Services.
Good evening, Board President, Board, Cabinet, and Community. I'm here representing Kristen Cinco. She couldn't be here tonight, so I will be presenting the SELPA local plan, and Mr. Slusser will be helping us out with the budget. So there are 4 sections of the SELPA local plan that will be submitted and approved at a subsequent meeting. This is an annual process similar to the LCAP and budget process. This year we are bringing, there's 5 sections, but 4 are up for renewal. The 5 sections are contacts and certifications, governance and administration, annual budget plan, and annual service plan. Next year, we will also be submitting Section C, which is the annual assurances support plan that aligns, that is, the purpose of that is to align this plan with the LCAP plan. And we hope that that happens next year. So Section A, it's updated annually, and it's the contacts. It's our SELPA director and who to contact for various information, as well as the certifications that our teachers have that are serving our special ed students. Section B is the governance and administration, and it covers everything from operations to role of the county Office of Ed, how we interact with charter schools. It lays out the plan for our community advisory committee, contract renewals, the role of the SELPA director. So it's kind of like the board policies for the district, but it's just for the SELPA. The main changes, it was last submitted in June of 2021, And at that time, we were all surprised that it was still referred to as the Anaheim City SELPA. So we have officially updated the name to be the Anaheim Elementary SELPA. And we also updated the number of school sites that we provide special education services. In section D, it's updated annually, and that shows the special education funding, the budgets, and the expenses. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Slessor.
Thank you, Dr. Grace. Good evening, Board President Ruelas, members of the board, cabinet, ASD community. I'm going to continue this with the annual budget plan. So what's in front of you are on the screen are the sources of special education funding, beginning with AB 602. You'll see there, if you can make it out on the slide, we are not receiving any funding for state aid from this. AB 602 was a blend of local property taxes as well as state aid. We have really capped as far as what we're receiving with property taxes, so that comes in at just under 13.4 million, but the state aid portion is budgeted at 0 because we are fully funding, or we are being funded with the property tax portion. Next, we have the federal grants, just under 4 million, 4.7 million for both of those, just over $1 million for state mental health, just under $200,000 for federal mental health, and then we have other projected revenue of $145,000. Of this is not the entire funding for special education. These are just the other sources that aren't funded locally by us. So regarding the changes to the annual budget plan, the changes are due to projected funding for special education, and this is because of declining enrollment at AASD. We are funded with the AB 602 allocation based on our total population of ADA, not just on our special education population. So with that, declining enrollment lowered ADA, and with that is less funding from the AB 602 formula. Even though our enrollment is going down, our special education population is increasing. So we're receiving really less money in total, but then our special education kids are going up as the years progress. So for a revenue summary, projected state special education revenue, just under $15 million. Federal revenue, just under $4 million, with our local contribution, almost $38 million for a total of $56.8 million. Regarding the full funding, I know it's been discussed in the past as far as federal funding and what that would look like. We do not receive really what the federal government had committed to us back when this bill went into play. We would have received $10.3 million had they have, but instead we received $3.4 million for 22-23. It's really a loss of almost $7 million. So next on this slide, it really shows the difference between state, federal, and our local contribution. You can see it's pretty significant of us contributing from the general fund almost $38 million for our special education programs. Compared to 23-24, that was budgeted at $33.2 million. So it's almost a $4.7 million increase in order to fund this. Next, we look at the annual budget plan. As you can see, the $56.8 million, most of our costs are in people, and that's invested in order to serve our students. I won't go over the details of each one, but with the majority of that being personnel. Next, for transparency, our SELPA expenses, these are 0. We are our own SELPA. This is really a benefit to us. The other scenario, if we were part of a multi-district SELPA, the SELPA would have expenditures. They would take that off the top for admin and other costs, and then the remaining amount would be distributed to the districts that are part of that. However, we are our own, so all of the funding comes to us. Next section, section E. So this is updated annually, and it includes the services that are provided and where those services are provided as well. So this is the fifth portion of what Dr. Grace had mentioned of the 5 total sections. So now that the plan has been presented, here are the next steps. Tonight, the public hearing. In 2 weeks, on the 26th, the board would take action to approve. And then on that Friday, the 28th, we would submit this plan to CDE. So with that, open up to any questions you may have.
Questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Thank you very much for the presentation. We passed a resolution back in September regarding the Full Funding Act. Has there been any traction at all in terms of those bills? Any progress through the legislature at the federal level that we're aware of?
No, there's not.
Okay.
No, there's not any, unfortunately for us, right?
My comment was going to be kind of attached to the same topic. How do we advocate for this to go forward? I'm almost thinking, can the state sue the federal government for these monies that they are said to have given our students in special education? So I'm just thinking from an advocacy standpoint, if the team could come up with maybe a plan where this local body can help promote the change, right? We've been promised monies for our kids and we're not getting them, so I'm just concerned about that. I'm sure Mark is concerned about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just seems like, oh, okay, well, like they're not giving us the money we need and it's okay. Like that's what it seems like, so it's not okay. So if we can kind of work on how we can advocate. I don't know if that's even within our purview as a school district, but I think it is. So just kind of putting it out there, yeah.
I think number one, we can just start by rescinding that resolution to all of our congressional delegation and just reminding them this is Congress's unfunded mandate, essentially, is what it amounts to, and let them know this is the promise that Congress has made as a body historically that has required us to provide services, which we also have a moral imperative to do, but they're not providing the funding for us. So just getting that out to not only the sponsors of the bill, but also our delegation, at least, and probably even statewide. It doesn't really take much more to hit, send on an email to, 10 people, 10 members versus 55. So we could probably send it to just all of our representatives and our senators.
So we can, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's worth our time, $7 million.
And we can, we'll put the resolution back into our Friday communication with you so that you can review it again, make any changes, and then another route for the school board for advocacy would be the California School Board Association. It rarely comes up there. So it collectively, if all of the boards of education had a voice and used their advocacy, that might also make an impact. So I would implore you to reach out to your counterparts in other districts, and when you're interacting with the CSBA delegates and assembly, to also get them to advocate on behalf of all the students, because it is a lot. And with declining enrollment throughout California, it's not just us that are feeling the pressure and the loss of funding.
Any other questions or comments? All right. It is recommended the Board of Education declare a public hearing for the purpose of review and adoption of the SELPA, the Special Education Local Plan Area, Annual Service Plan, and Annual Budget Plan in accordance with Education Code 56205. These documents are required components of the SELPA Local Plan and will be submitted to the California Department of Education by June 30th of 2024. The Annual Service Plan includes a description of services provided and demonstrates that all individuals with exceptional needs shall have access to services and instruction appropriate to meet their needs as currently specified in the individualized education programs. The Annual Plan is a report of the specific revenues and expenditures as required by Education Code 56205. Copies of these plans are available for inspection in the Special Services Office. After hearing no comments from the public, we will now adjourn the hearing and give notice that a vote on this item is scheduled for June 26, 2024 regular board meeting. Moving on, Local Control Accountability Plan, LCAP, and the California School Dashboard 2024-25 Local Indicators Updates. Dr. Mary Grace, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, and Rhonda Robertson, the Director of Department of Assessment, Translation, and Accountability.
Hello again. This is our annual update to the Board of Education and the community regarding our local control and accountability plan. It is aligned with the budget, so this is a new plan and will cover the next 3 years. And we also are required at this time to update you on our the LCFF local indicators. So as we will review what the state priorities are and how we develop the LCAP. There are 8 state priorities. This is how we formulate our goals. This is also how we measure the actions and services that are put into the LCAP, and these are also the accountability measures from the state of California. So the LCAP is a process, and I think as a district, we should be very proud of the process that we do implement. We meet every single month throughout the year, and we really do go through a plan, do review process with the committee members that represent our parents, classified, certificated, management, and community partners, looking at data, looking at expenditures, making recommendations throughout. So for the 24 through 27 LCAP season, we have 3 goals. The first one is for pupil outcomes. We put the pupil outcomes as our first goal, as a need to highlight making sure that we have a focus on increasing the academics of our students. So by fostering culturally and linguistically responsive teaching and leadership practices, AESD is committed to enhancing the academic and social emotional growth of all students. Our focus includes accelerating the academic progress and achievements for emergent bilingual, low-income, students with disabilities, foster youth, and long-term English learners, homeless students, as well as ensuring equitable outcomes for every one of our learners. The second goal is for parent and student engagement, and all students, staff, and families will feel welcomed and supported at all AESD sites. The district will prioritize meaningful engagement, nurture social emotional learning, and promote the overall well-being of our students, staff, and families. Building upon these diverse assets, we enhance the richness and diversity of the district and foster an inclusive environment for all. And then the third, the conditions for learning. These are mostly part of the Williams Act. We had a presentation earlier this year. So the district, we will maintain 100% compliance with California State Priority Number 1. That's the basic conditions of learning by ensuring that all students have access to fully credentialed teachers, standards-aligned materials, and facilities that are in good repair throughout the LCAP cycle. So we are required to have metrics in the LCAP. So that is how we're measuring, or how do we know we're doing what we said we were going to do and that it is making an impact. I took a moment to highlight the yellow metrics are required metrics by the state of California. The ones that are in the white, those are local measures. So those are more formative, more of that data that we can utilize to make changes on the spot. So for goal 1, it's our LPAC, the CASP, ELA, and math, as well as our reclassification rates. We utilize the STAR reading and STAR math as our formative assessment so that teachers are giving that ongoing and have that data at the ready so that they can adjust and make changes to their instruction. Also, we have a metric for our students with disabilities. We want to make sure that our students with moderate to severe disabilities are scoring proficient mastery on the core content connectors. And what this does is this ensures that as we're writing IEPs for our students, we're making sure that we are connecting their present levels with the standards of the grade level they should be in. And then finally, the CASP Science is now going to be part of the dashboard. And then we also have, you'll learn about the local indicators. One of them is implementing the state academic standards. For goal 2, we have to have a school climate survey. And we look at that, we look at 2 measures there. We look at our students' sense of belonging, as well as our students' engagement. And on this particular survey, these are surveys that it's student reported, information. We give an SEL survey 3 times a year, as well as one at the end of the year, kind of a summative, how we're doing. Looking at attendance, we're going to increase our ADA 1.3% annually. And we were all very excited. Our attendance data that came in, like we reduced our chronic absenteeism by over 10%. So we're making good strides. You know, it's a tough needle to thread, if you will, but we're working on that, and we have some good plans in place. Also, for goal 2, we have to use our suspension and expulsion as data. We have a parent survey. And thanks to Rhonda Robertson and the data department and the support of the district, we are utilizing Qualtrics, which lets us really have a formative survey that we're able to not only get percentages, but we can pull out information such as thoughts and feelings from our parents and our staff that lets us really dig into the changes that need to be made. Also required this year are parent participation in programs for unduplicated students. So we need to make sure on our LCAP committee, on our DLAC, on our school site councils, that we're making sure that the parents of students who are traditionally underserved represent and are a part of those decision-making bodies. And that covers number 9 as well. And the metrics for goal 3 are, there's a new California statewide assignment accountability system. We work really closely with HR to ensure that our teachers that are serving students are appropriately credentialed. Probably easier in the elementary than in the junior high and high school, but it's a new metric. The William visits for to ensure access to materials as well as facilities inspection, and then a local indicator that you'll learn about later. So here are the proposed actions and services to start us off. Each school site receives an allocation from LCFF, or the Supplemental and Concentration Funds, as well as from Title I, to develop their school plans. You have access to those school plans for your areas, and you will be approving them at the next board meeting as well. So for Goal 1, we will be having LCAP funded teachers on special assignment at 23 of our schools. In addition, this is new and exciting, we will have a split funded LCAP as well as our expanded learning opportunities funding to ensure that we have a certificated staff member that's operating in our after school program to help ensure that we have appropriate academic interventions and programs for students. And they will help the tutors that are there provide some instruction in small groups. We also have an additional TOSA for our larger schools, so Ponderosa and Ross will receive an additional one. We have Title I is funding 5 teachers on special assignment focused on instruction and intervention at Edison, Henry, Olive, Lincoln, and Ponderosa, and that is to address the academic learning gaps that we find at those schools. We have our music teachers, music coordinator, a VAPA-TOSA, our library media assistants, and some professional development. We also were really excited. We've been using our Title III money to hire TOSAs for emergent bilinguals, and we have some fantastic data. We'll include that in the upcoming Friday memo of how they're working with our long-term English learners to make sure that they leave us and they are reclassified for the opportunities for junior high and high school. And then we also will have our professional learning communities again. That's well received by our staff. We purchased the Renaissance Learning Suite, which provides accelerated reader, digital reading, and assessments for us. And we continue to provide an allocation of library books and VAPA money for each school. Really excited about this, our out-of-classroom learning. We're one of the only districts that provides this opportunity for students. Long-standing relationship with Inside the Outdoors, where students in preschool through 6th grade will have the opportunity to go to a field trip outdoors. as well as traveling scientists come in. They do family nights and they do assemblies during the day. New this year, we will be sending we have 4 Saturday schools typically every year. Every school will have one Saturday where they will go on a field trip so that it's more engaging, it's a Saturday, and it gets them into a different learning environment. As well as, and this is a big one, to be quite honest, our 6th grade students and our teachers are very excited about the opportunity for all 6th graders who want to go, regardless of ability to, fundraise or raise money or contribute, to go to outdoor science camp. And we hope to bring the camp operators at the next board meeting. And then for goals for action 2, that's our, for our students, it's our wellness. It's our nurses, our school counselors, our attendance liaisons. We're really excited. We're going to be providing, based on direct feedback from teachers on our LCAP survey, we are able to provide professional development that's meeting the needs that they specifically outlined in that survey. So one of them is a behavior summit where they'll spend the day learning how to applied behavior techniques with students, as well as some classroom management. That was a new thing we did last year, and teachers loved it. We also have our wraparound services through Western Youth Services, as well as for each school will have 2 clinicians. One is a school-based clinician, one is a community schools-based clinician. So we will have a clinician there from 7 in the morning to 6 p.m. at night. In addition, it funds our school family community engagement team, and also the parent education component that they put on, the PLI, any of their cuentos familiares, those types of activities. For goal 3, those are the actions and services. This includes our new employee welcome, some professional development, 22 vice principals, 23 leadership assistants, technology support at the school to keep our infrastructure and devices operating. And with that, I'm going to have Wanda come up to go over the local indicators.
Thank you. Good evening. It's the time of year where we go over the local indicators, and so I'm really pleased to let you know that we've successfully evaluated ourselves against all of the state priorities and are going to be meeting standard in this regard. So we have our state indicators, and then what I'm here to tell you about tonight is local indicators. So whenever I share the dashboard with you and that big public release of all the test scores and distances from level 3, et cetera, that's on the state side. And then tonight, we measure ourselves. The state gives us a little bit more leniency in what we choose to use to measure ourselves against the state priorities when it comes to the local indicators. So this is that piece where, as long as we go through the process, we annually measure our progress, we engage our educational partners, have good conversations, and then we report those results to you guys, and then ultimately tomorrow morning I'll submit all of this information into our dashboard. And so it'll go public in whatever we discuss here tonight will go public in December, or they're trying to push the date up to November. We'll see. December, I'm hopeful. So I do have a corresponding packet that you should have if you want all the full details of each little indicator and all of the intricacies. It does talk about when we met, what we looked at, and what the results of each piece were. And in the past, we did share that, and it was like a 45-minute presentation. So if you have any questions about any of it, don't hesitate to ask here. So on the dashboard, we can get one of 3 indicators, basically. Did we meet, or not meet for 2 or more years? And we've been meeting our standard. We've been going through this process and adhering to it all since the inception of the LCFF. So this shows you just a snippet of all the different sources of information that we use when we engage with our stakeholders and have discussions about how we're doing in regards to our progress in each of these areas. And quite often, are based on the conversations and the data we're looking at, we score ourselves down sometimes. Like, we were a 4 last year and now we're a 3 this year because we get a little bit hard on ourselves. And that's fine, because it's about the conversation, it's about what we're gonna do to move forward and make better outcomes for our staff and for our students. So this is just some examples of different things we look at: the facilities inspection tool, our classroom walkthrough data with that OPAL. There's several self-evaluation rubrics with regards to how we're implementing standards, how our parents feel about how we're doing. They do a self-evaluation as well that's very lengthy. They met twice to go over theirs. So that's an example. And so we are standard met in each of the areas, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any specifics.
Questions? All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It is recommended the Board of Education declare a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing the proposed local control and accountability plan for the 2024-2027 school year within the Anaheim Elementary School District in accordance with the provisions of Education Code Section 56205. The LCAP plan on file and is on file, available for public review at the Anaheim Elementary School District website. After hearing no comments from the public, we will now adjourn the hearing and give notice that a vote on this item is scheduled for the June 26, 2024 regular board meeting. Moving on to the 2024-25 proposed budget and LCFF budget overview for parents. That's going to be Jesse Chavarria, who is still our Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services, and Matthew Slesser, our Director of Fiscal Administrative Services. Welcome.
Good evening, Board President Relas, members of the board, and community. This evening, we're presenting to you the proposed budget for 24-25. Along with that, the LCFF budget overview for parents. And Matt Slusser, our Director of Fiscal and Administrative Services, will present the LCFF budget overview in conjunction with our proposed budget. But before I begin, I have to acknowledge that hard work of our fiscal and business teams. They've been hard at work to put this budget together. I know what we present to you is just a quick summary, but the SACS report that's attached to, to the item kind of goes back to all the work that they have to do. And I do want to acknowledge the respective leaders, Eduardo de la Cruz, Priscilla Martinez, and of course, Matt Slusser as well. So in terms of the legal requirements for our budget, proposed budget. So today this evening, we're presenting the budget to you as proposed, and then you'll declare a public hearing, and then on June 26th, you'll take action to adopt, and if you do adopt the budget, you approve it, we will send it over to the Orange County Department of Ed for them to review it and approve it as well. So just a quick summary, there was not a lot in terms of the May revision, but just we wanted to share with you a couple of things there. Of course, there's a cost of living adjustment of 1.07%. So they continue. It was supposed to change on the transitional kindergarten. It was supposed to change to 1 adult to 10 students. They kept it at 1 to 12, and they're looking to move to 1 to 10 in 25-26. But the bad thing about this is that there's no extra funding for that. In terms of our early TK, right, those exceptions that don't qualify to be in TK, but we do take here in our district, those continue to be at a 1 to 10 ratio that we have to provide that. And then the state wants to maintain the universal school meals, that everybody is entitled to a breakfast and a lunch without having to prove that they have a need. And then there's some money, they're still putting aside some money for green school buses. So we will look for opportunities to apply to add to our fleet in terms of our electric buses. So in putting the budget together, we have to make certain assumptions. The assumptions that we took into consideration are listed here. ADA funding of $13,446. cost of living adjustment at 1.07%, lottery funding of $177 unrestricted and $72 restricted per ADA. STIRS rate stays at 19.1%, but the PERS rate does increase from 26.68% to 27.05% for next year. So here's our revenue summary. We expect to receive from LCFF sources $219.3 million, from federal revenue $19.7 million, other state revenue $66.3. The bulk of this is our ELA funding. In other local revenue, $5.8 million, for a total projected revenue of $311.2 million for 24-25. This pie chart shows you where the bulk of our revenue comes from LCFF, as highlighted there at $219.3 million. And then this is what we're proposing in terms of expenditures in our budget. Under certificated salaries, $119.9 million. Under classified salaries, $54.8 million. Employee benefits at $94.7 million. Books and supplies, $15.6 million. Services and other operating expenses, $40.6 million. Capital outlay, $361,000. Other outgoing, $1.6 million. And you can see there's the indirect cost of $506,000. So overall, the total expenditures that are projected for 24-25 at this time is $327.2 million. So the pie chart here shows you that the bulk of our expenditures are our investment in our employees. This slide here is something you haven't seen before, but I want to just kind of provide a little bit of background. Back in June of last year, when we came to you with a proposed budget in 23-24, we asked you that we needed, we recommended to the board to commit $20 million of our ending fund balance. And we said what we recommended is to commit $6.9 million to support LCAP goals, because typically we over budget because we want to support our students. We also said because of decline in enrollment to commit with $11.6 million, and under early retirement incentive expenses, commit $1.4 million. So you approved that when you approved the budget back in June of 2023. So in order for us to balance the budget for the 2 years, as part of you approving the budget, we're asking for you to uncommit the amounts listed there in red in each of the sections. Under supplemental and concentration, uncommit $4.7 million. Under decline in enrollment, $5.8 million. And under early retirement, the whole amount, because we did offer an early retirement incentive, and we need that entire amount to cover those expenses. So that would be a total of uncommitted funds of $12 million. That would leave the following amounts under commitment that we still propose for you to continue that commitment. Under supplemental and concentration to support LCAP goals, $2.1 million. Decline in enrollment, $5.8 million, and of course nothing left there for early retirement. So we would continue, if approved, with the $7.9 million in terms of commitments for the future. So this slide just kind of summarizes the $7.9 million that we're asking that the board continue to commit, and they're listed there. I went over them in the previous slide, but this kind of cleans it up for you. So if the board is okay with that, this is what we kind of see here in terms of the budget summary for 24-25. Beginning fund balance, we start with $86.2 million. Like we stated, we expect revenue at $311.2, expenditures at $327.2 million. No transfers out. It leaves us with a deficit of $16 million. So covering it with our ending fund balance, it leaves us an ending fund balance of $70.2 million. So that $70.2 million, you can see there is broken up for you to reflect what makes up that $70 million. It would be $75,000 in revolving cash, $300,000 in non-spendable stores, all other non-spendable assets at $30,000, federal, state, and local grants at $42.1 million. The 6% reserve for economic uncertainties that the board requires would be $19.6 million. In committed, like I talked about in the previous slide, $7.9 million. So that leaves us an undesignated, unrestricted of $95,000. So as part of the budget, we also have to put a multi-year projection, and so we have to use assumptions in order to do that. So the assumptions used and put in the multi-year projection are reflected in this table. As you can see, the first row there is the base amount for grades TK through third plus CSR adjustment, because they do get an adjustment based on the grade level. You see the amounts there going throughout the years. In grades 4, 6, those are the base amounts. Unduplicated account starts this year at 89.52%. We're projecting it to be 89.42% in 25-26 and 88.98% in 26-27. And then the TK add-on, we do get something in terms of a TK add-on to support, that 1 to 12 requirement. And so you see there this year we're receiving $3,077 per TK ADA, and that grows to $3,167 in 25-26 and $3,265 in 26-27. And then our enrollment, you can see there, and we're projecting enrollment of 13,850 this year, 13,650 in 25-26, and 13,450 in 26-27. And then the COLA, this is what was given to us. In terms of a projection, 1.07%, this in 24-25, and then we were informed to use a 2.93% for 25-26, and for 26-27, a 3.08% COLA, right? And you see the lottery, I stated that earlier in terms of an assumption. The purse rate, like we said, that keeps increasing. This coming year, 27.05%, grows to 27.6, and then in 26-27, it'll be at 28%. But the STIRS rate, the good thing, it stays the same at 19.1. So this is using those assumptions. This is what we have in terms of a multi-year projection for you. Beginning fund balance in 24-25, like we stated a little bit earlier, 86.2. Expenses of a revenue of 311.2 million. Expenses 327.2. With the deficit of 16 million, leaves us a fund balance of 70,214,000. Not reflected. It's not stated there because what we did for you is kind of break it up so that you can see what makes up that 70 million. And you can see there, I kind of went through it in the previous slide, but you can see the numbers there. For 25-26, so we start with that 70.2 million beginning fund balance. We're projecting revenue at 304.6 million. At this time, we're projecting expenditures, if nothing changes, of $333 million. So with the deficit of 28.4 million, and then leaving us a fund balance of 41.7 million, and you see what makes up that 41.7 million there. And then 26-27, we begin with that 41.7 million. We're projecting revenue at 300 million, expenses at 317.4, giving us a deficit of 16.5 million, leaving us with an ending fund balance of 25.2 million, and you see what makes that up. I do want to highlight here, remember the board did approve for us to look at potential reductions for 24-25, 25-26, and 26-27. Those approved reductions that the board made asked us to look into were 11 million for this coming year, about 12 million for 25-26, and 26-27, another 11 million. So what we're presenting to you is something without any reductions. This is what it looks like, right, with those deficits. But of course, as we look to make those reductions, this will change the picture in terms of those deficits and helping us end with a much positive ending fund balance, and 26-27. And that work, like we informed the Budget Advisory Committee, we'll need to start that work as early as August so that we can kind of look at different things. Not necessarily personnel, but a multitude of different things that was agreed to in our advisory committee to look at in order to see where we can make some reductions, some savings. And so here you have a summary of our other funds. So we begin with the fund balance of $4.3 million in child development, which is our Fund 12. We expect revenues of $10.6 million, expenditures of $9.5 million, leaving us an ending fund balance of $5.4 million there. We don't really use deferred maintenance anymore. We have $803. We're getting $200. As you can see there, expenditures $3, leaves us $1,000. The reason we haven't closed this account yet is because we don't know what the future holds in terms of if we may have to come back and use it, and it's a little bit difficult to then reopen it. So that's why we keep it open. And then our bonds in Building 21, you see there our beginning fund balance of $135.5 million, revenues of $6 million, expenditures of $129, so we expect to end with a fund balance of $12.5 there, right? And under capital facilities, this is the redevelopment and developer fees that we collect. So we have a beginning fund balance of $26 million. We expect to receive a $1.1 million in expenditures, about 1.3, leaving us $25.8 million in that fund balance. And under county school facilities, this is basically state matching funds. When we do our construction, then we request some matching funds. Our beginning fund balance is $24.9 million, revenue $720,000, expenditures $3,600, leaving us $25.6 million there. And then capital outlay, as you can see there, $3.4 million beginning fund balance, revenues $1.6 million, expenditures $762,000 we're expecting to spend, leaving us $3.8 million in that fund. And I'll have now Matt share with you the LCFF budget overview for parents.
Thank you, Mr. Chavarria. Good evening again. So what is the LCFF budget overview for parents? It's really a document submitted in conjunction with the LCAP, as Dr. Grace presented to you a bit ago, as well as it goes with the district budget for 24-25. It breaks down LCAP and LCFF funding. It takes a look at total general fund revenue for 24-25, as well as total general fund expenditures for 24-25, and then it takes a look at the 23-24, the current year we're in, for the learning continuity plan. So this slide portrays the entire amount of general fund revenue. Mr. Chavarria covered this in detail, but with the overview of this, the total received in the general fund is $311.2 million. This is the graph, or I'm sorry, the pie chart on the left. I'll start with the smallest pieces and then work our way outward. So with that local funds, just over $5.8 million. Next would be federal monies, $19.7 million. That includes title funds as well as federal special ed funds. Next, the orange portion there, $66.3 million. That is other state funds. That includes ELOP, ACES, some of our community schools grants that we received. And as you can see, the total, or the largest portion of the funding we receive is from the LCFF funding. Of that, it's broken down into multiple parts. So if you look at the graph to your right, the total amount's $219.3 million. Of that, almost 20%, just under $58 million, is supplemental and concentration grants. Supplemental grants are received for our unduplicated students, which consist of foster youth and homeless, free and reduced, meal eligible, as well as English learners. Of that, a concentration grant for unduplicated accounts above 55%, we receive additional funding for that. So that's what that's made up of. And then the larger portion of that is our LCFF funding. Mr. Chavarria went through kind of how it's broken down and how we're funded per student for ADA, and that is a little over $161.4 million. Next, we look at the total, the LCAP and general fund expenditures. In the green, that is the total amount of expenditures in the general fund. Of course, Mr. Chavarria went in detail on those. Just under $327.3 million. Now, looking at the smaller portion on the graph, Dr. Grace presented that with the LCAP just under $67.8 million. So you can see it's about 20% of the total general fund budget is budgeted in the LCAP. So now we look at the 23-24 current year for the learning continuity plan. You can see in blue, we had budgeted $60.6 million. The actual expenditures for high needs students in the LCAP to date is just under $54.5 million. Please note on this that the year has not closed yet, and we still have payrolls yet to post as far as when this data was pulled, but we do anticipate to spend that entire amount. Again, the year is not closed, and this is looking at actual expenditures. So with that, thank you so much, and I'll open it up for any questions you may have for Mr. Chavarria or myself.
No questions, just a comment. That's like a lot of numbers. Do you guys like dream in numbers? You know, it's like insane.
Yes, we do.
Do you? Well, thank you guys for this thorough presentation. It is recommended the Board of Education declare a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing the proposed budget and LCFF budget overview for parents for the fiscal year 2024-2025 within the Anaheim Elementary School District in accordance with the provisions of Education Code Section 56205. The proposed budget is on file and available for public review on the Anaheim Elementary School District website. After hearing no comments from the public, we will now adjourn the hearing and give notice that a vote on this item is scheduled for June 26, 2024 regular meeting. Moving on to consent calendar. Items listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and are acted on by the board in one motion. There is no discussion of these items unless a member of the board, staff, or public requests a specific item to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Are there any items to be pulled at this time? Trustee Philbeck? Trustee Alvarez? Trustee Lopez? Dr. McCallus? And I have none either. Can I please get a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Philbeck.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Lopez. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Superintendent's Office. It is recommended the Board of Education receive for first reading revisions to the following board policies and administrative regulations. Administrative Regulation 4119.11 regarding sexual harassment. Administrative Regulation 4119.12 sexual harassment. And Administrative Regulation 4030 non-discrimination in employment.
So moved. Alvarez.
So moved by Trustee Alvarez. Can we get a second?
Second. Lopez.
Seconded by Lopez. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Educational Services, none. SELPA, none. Human Resources, none. Administrative Services. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt resolution number 2023-24/59, closing the Building General Obligation Ban Series 2011 B Measure G Fund 2127.
So moved.
The district established the Fund 2127 to separately account for Measure G proceeds from the sale of a general obligation bond anticipation note ban in the 2011-2012 fiscal year. A ban is a short-term interest-bearing security issued in advance of a larger future bond issuance. The ban was paid in full upon the sale of Measure G General Obligation Bond Fund 2128, and that was moved by Dr. McCallus. Can I get a second? seconded by trustee Philbeck. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries 5-0. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Proposition 28 Arts and Music in Schools Funding Annual Report for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. The Arts and Music in Schools AMS Funding Guarantee and Accountability Act requires LEAs to complete an annual report even if no AMS funds were spent, and it needs to be board approved. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Alvarez.
So moved by trustee Alvarez.
Second, Lopez.
Second by trustee Lopez. Any discussion? I just would like to say that, I really appreciate the speakers that come out tonight and actually expressed, their concerns, but their passion, what they would like to see, and to be more included in this. And I do applaud you. So please continue to reach out to us. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. All right, board discussion. Take it away, trustee Philbeck.
Okay. I'll start with, I did make it to 2 of the open houses on May 9th. It's a little hard to get to 4. We've every year we kind of all struggle with this 4 or 5. But I was able to get to 2, and I was at Jefferson, where I was very impressed with all of the science that was in a lot of the rooms. I saw praying mantises and butterflies and plants, and it was just great to see a lot of that science incorporated into the learning. Headed over to Westmont, where the PTA was there selling food. Our community school partners were there sharing resources. The classrooms were great, and the student performances during the open house were absolutely wonderful. So well done. So since I couldn't get to Price for the open house, I attended their spring concert. That was on May 10th, and I'll have to say that it was, the 6th grade band was great, and one of my favorite performances was Ghostbusters. And they just did a wonderful job, so congratulations. Then I believe it was a Saturday, the Villages of California hosted the Mental Health Awareness Month Fair at Ross in partnership with Orange County Healthcare Agency, and there was games and raffles and music and lots of resources and refreshments, and it was just a great event. Then ran over here to the Administrators Project Lead, which were the administrators who are getting their credentials, right? They were finished up, and I wasn't able in time to help score the improvement projects, but I believe Mr. You were there, right? You got to do that? Okay, I know one of us was there. We kind of were at different times, but it's really great to be in the room and everybody's finishing up and they're also excited and accomplished, and it's just a great time. All right, then I think most of us were at the ACSA, Association of California School Administrators of the Year, where we got to, 2024, we got to help celebrate in the celebration of excellence our own Dr. Grace for Central Office Administration, correct? And also Matthew Slesser for Classified Champion. We are proud of you. It was a wonderful evening, and I really, really enjoyed it, and it was kind of one of those, hey, they're with us, kind of moments that you guys just, it was an honor to actually see you be honored, and I was very, very proud, as I know we all were. Okay. At Sunkist and Henry, we had a little brief introduction here with the Disney volunteers, and I was at both of the book giveaways, and it was just wonderful. When you walk into a room and you just see table upon table upon table piled high with books, and then the kids come in and they get to choose, I believe, 4. I think they got was it 3 or 4? Dr. Downing, do you remember? It was 4. Okay, 4 books. It's a lot of books, and they were excellent. There was a few I wouldn't have mind picking up. And then to also be given each school, I believe it was a $15,000 book credit Am I correct in that? It was just wonderful. So thank you again to Disney, and the volunteers are just wonderful people. They're a lot of fun to be around, and I always enjoy when we get to have an event that they're gonna, you know, come to. A lot of times I've been at the Kaboom Park builds, and they're there also, so thank you. I stopped by the transportation staff retirement celebration for Donna, Rob, and Francisco, and bittersweet, but it was a nice celebration, and I wish them all happy lives after they step off from here. Same with Principal Hubbard over at Gwen. I just had a quick moment to run by and when they were having her celebration. Dr. Grace's retirement, that was a lot of fun. I finally, after 10 years, met, I don't want to say Mr. Dr. Grace, but that's what I've called him for 10 years because I didn't believe he existed, but he does. He does. It's Michael. Is it Michael? Okay, and he was so nice, so nice. And I'm like, oh, okay, 10 years, but here he is. So that was a lot of fun, and it was a wonderful, wonderful celebration for Dr. Grace. The Revere groundbreaking for the new multi-purpose room. Pure and total excitement. Just love to see our bond dollars at work and to see the wonderful things that are projected that are going to be at these schools. It's going to take a year or so, but you know, they're going to be there forevermore, and boy, are they going to be great for not only the students and everybody at the school, but for the community as well. The 2024 induction colloquium, teaching is a gift that is shared every day. I believe there were 25 second-year teachers who successfully completed their 2 years of induction work and recommended for the following clear credentials. Ed specialists were 5 and multi-subjects were 20. Congratulations to all, and that's another fun day too. CSCA Taco Bar, what can I say? Great food, great people, it was just a lot of fun. The soccer game, I know everybody's going to be reporting on it, so I'll just say that that was one of the greatest events, I think, all year. It was just fantastic, and the kids they played their hearts out over at Glover Stadium, and it was just so well run. It was just a tremendous amount of fun. Priscilla Martinez's retirement, director of business. You know, at some point I had to kind of sit there and rethink voting yes on this retirement option, but you know, it was a great option, and I do wish everyone well that is retiring. The last PTA council meeting. Also got a chance to Zoom with Senator Newman. I mentioned regarding Prop 98, you know, there's been a lot of talk about that and what's going on around that. And also we talked about sustaining our existing programming. Stopped by the Franklin Volunteer Breakfast. Great job there and a lot of fun. They even had a guitarist that was setting the mood for us. It was really wonderful. The SFACE Department End of the Year Breakfast, ELOP, wonderful. For our leadership assistants and family and community engagement specialists, I'm almost finishing, I promise. There was a lot going on. Benito Juarez groundbreaking, again, for a new multi-purpose room, building complex, and library modernization, funded by the G and J bond measures. WWAMI, I know Juan's going to talk about that also. That was something to see, about 500 people there. And I think it was Belinda that said that they were running up to that stage like The Price is Right when they were coming up to get their certificates and their little clock. And it's true. They were just like leaping on that stage. So everybody was happy. I've never seen so many happy people in one place. It was fun. Stopped by the district party that we had last week, which is always a great way to end the year. And let's see, and the DES staff retirement for Brian Brooks, Janice Cato, and Stacy Marmion, which was that yesterday? Was that, okay, I'm trying to remember, where was I? It's all starting to run together. And that was a lot of fun. And we are certainly going to miss them too. Janice, I think you and Brian are here one more meeting, right? So I don't have to cry just yet, but anyways, it was really a wonderful celebration of some great people. There was lots of that going on. And with that, I will end my report and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Trustee Alvarez.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to start with the project lead like culminating projects, I guess you could say. I came and visited for a little short while. I'm sad I couldn't stay longer. One of the projects that I saw, I believe that it was basically an internal study, and the group came up with, I think they were called toodles. All right, so instead of tattling on kids for doing things that are not appropriate, there was this idea of tattling on each other for doing things that were positive or the right thing to do or doing good or right by others. So the group took data on the effects of the kids reporting other people doing good things. So it was kind of interesting to see that develop. One of the things that I really do enjoy is I'm always a proponent of, can we get local data, right? Is there research on our own students, on our own demographic? And so what I really appreciated, I got a glimpse of some of one of the projects, but if that group was doing internalized data from our own subgroups of students, I'm sure the rest of the teams were. So I'm kind of glad that LEAD is kind of taking that outlook on the projects that we're doing, right? We're taking a look at our internal systems and trying to figure out how we can improve the day for everybody. So I really appreciate being able to score at least one project for that. I did go to the City Hall where Dr. Downing was being recognized over there. Just another sense of pride, right? Having our school district and our staff and our superintendent being recognized at the City Hall. It doesn't seem like it would mean a lot, but it does, right? Because it's our name being put out there, right? And the city and the city council knowing that we're doing right by our kids and knowing that we have exemplary leadership running our programming is good to showcase. So I'm glad I was able to accompany Dr. Downing that evening. I did attend the soccer championship at Glover Stadium. Like Trustee Philbeck said, one of the greatest events. I think for me, it's just one of those things where you just realize, you look up, you go from the field and you look, or turn around and you look at the stadium and you see this is our community, right? Everyone's showing up. And so it's just one of those things on how we can take something that is culturally relevant to our families and explode it into an event that they can connect to and they can have fun at. So it's just like a combination of all that, right? So they're seeing their kids play soccer. They're having a sense of community amongst the different school campuses, right? Building school spirit. And then also showcasing the talents of all the kids that were learning how to do performances from the ELOP programming. So it kind of all just wraps up together. It's just a perfect summary of this is what we did all year, guys, right? So in one tournament. So I'm glad we're doing those, and that event is continuing on for a second year, and I think we'll keep doing it, right? Makes sense. And then I did attend the Whammy. A lot of people there. I showed up a little bit later than expected, so it was just kind of like overwhelming to see so many people, which is a good thing, right? So typically when you go to an event, you're there and you don't really realize what's going on, but when I showed up, it was just packed. And so just a great time to celebrate our retirees, a great time to kind of take in where we're at, right? We're in Anaheim, right? How many retirement celebrations happen at a giant stadium? I think not many or at all. Any besides ours, right? So I don't know, just something I was thinking about as I was walking out and I was speaking to my wife about him. I was just thinking, who else is having the retirement parties at a stadium? So this is kind of amazing. So I just want to thank all the staff that puts that together, right? I know it's a year-long planning process and it's a lot of time and effort for every subgroup of our organization to put the baskets together to get them there, but it's always a lot of fun and it's always a lot of enjoyment for everyone who shows up, right? Laughter and just a time to celebrate each other and those who are retiring and who've invested in our school district. And then I just want to finish up with thanking the staff that's working during the summer, because I know we have a lot of staff on our campuses. Even though it's summertime, they're not off. And I know this because my child's going to the summer programming at MAN, right? So we have teachers working, we have staff working, and we have people engaging our kids and families continuously all year round, and we should applaud ourselves for that because it's a lot of work, but we do invest a lot in our families, and I'm thankful we were able to do that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Lopez.
Thank you very much. Most of the items have already been mentioned by my colleagues, but I'll just go over them briefly. I was able to attend one of the open houses this year. I was only able to make it to Roosevelt because I had another meeting right afterwards. I was able to meet, we have a new Mandarin teacher who's been in place there for several months now, and seems like he's adapting really well. The students seem to really enjoyed the class. The parents were excited about it. He had a bunch of cookies when everybody arrived. It's really a great event every time I go to one of the open houses as well, because it really is that community feel. You get to see one of my APs is a parent with the Mandarin program, for example. So, and then another one of the teachers is a spouse of an Anaheim Union administrator as well. So it really is that close-knit, such a small world type of feel when you go to these open houses, because everybody knows everybody in different capacities. So I appreciated seeing the community there, all the people that showed up. On May 11th, I was also at the LEAD program. I think many of us were here probably at different times. One of the groups that I was able to see did a study on students and their capability in the core subjects, math and science, and kind of noticed there was a little bit of self-doubt, I think, for some of the scholars. Meanwhile, some of the other students didn't do as well on some of the different testing that they were assessing, but felt very confident about it, which it kind of reminded me of the Dunning-Kruger effect. And I'd mentioned that to Dr. Grace while I was here, that we even see that kind of at the national level sometimes, where there's individuals who have a great ability but have self-doubt, and then those who don't really have a lot of ability are very confident about their lack of ability. So it was kind of seeing that microcosm was kind of very interesting. And then I had to go because we had our second annual May Mental Health Awareness Fair, which was at Ross. I was able to attend, so I should have carpooled to Dr. Grace over there because we both ended up at the same place. And she was gracious enough to get me a tote bag. I got a t-shirt. There's a lot of swag that they had at the table. So really very important, because I did get a bookmark, I think it was at last year's event, talking about how, and I still have it, says that not every disability is visible. So it's really important that there are those, not just to be aware of it during the month of May, but year round. It's important that we are aware of that, and that we have resources for individuals who are able to seek out and to receive the support that they need. So I'm looking forward to the third annual next year. May 13th, with all of my colleagues and cabinet, we were at the AXA Administrator of the Year celebration. Excellence dinner, as Ms. Philbeck mentioned. So congratulations again, Dr. Grace, Matthew Slusser, for your awards that you received. Then May 17th, Dr. Grace had her retirement reception here. I was happy to be able to attend that as well. May 22nd was the induction colloquium. I was able to attend that with a couple of my colleagues. I just have to say, every year I feel like the staff does such a great job with the theme, and the decorations are great. Just the creativity that goes into building that whole set is great. So I really appreciate the staff for putting that together every year, and congratulations to those year 2 teachers now that they've cleared their credential, and our mentors as well, for all of the time and energy and effort that they put into really supporting our teachers as they were completing their program. Then I was able to make it to the soccer championship as well, and I agree, it did feel like it was like a professional soccer match that was going on. We had music, we had the band, we were right next to the band, we were front row seats. I thought we had to sign a waiver because we were right there on the pitch. So it was really exciting. It was a little hot, but it was exciting being out there in the middle of the day to see that game going on, and seeing just the excitement that was going on, and also seeing just different parents that I know from wearing my other hat that were also there that stopped to say hello as well. And then May 29th, I was at the LCAP advisory meeting, which was here. And then May 30th, I was joined by Trustee Philbeck at the Benito Juarez NPR groundbreaking. So again, I mentioned this in my remarks there, but I just want to say it again, that I want to thank the voters who chose to really tax themselves to benefit our community, because they saw the greater good in the benefits that we reap from that for our community and for our youngest residents, our students, our scholars, and their safety, their security they have, and just to facilitate that learning, being out outside of the elements, whether it's raining, whether it's hot outside, they have a place that they eventually will be able to go to seek that refuge and have that facilitation for that learning environment. So with that, I'll conclude my remarks. Thank you.
Dr. McCullis.
All right. Congratulations, Dr. Mary Grace and Matt, for your awards at the Administrator Celebration of the Year dinner at AXA. It was a great dinner event. It's actually, I think, my first AXA event. So it was great to see all the administrators of Orange County. I also attended at Paul Revere School a Know Your Rights parent workshop. It was another workshop that I wanted to attend just to see what information is being given to our students. I really love how the organizations, and thanks to those two amazing organizations, teaching about to our parents what happens if confronted with immigration and customs officials, in addition to a lot of the various know your rights things that parents oftentimes aren't very aware of. I also attended Roosevelt School. They had a DJ party. Thank you, DJ Mel. Principal Dr. Anna Kim was sharing with me. It was just a way to celebrate the amazing things that they have done throughout this school year. I also got to see our plaque for the first time in front of Roosevelt School. It's kind of weird seeing your name in like a building, but yeah, it was kind of cool. I also attended two sixth grade promotions. I attended Stoddard's and Ross's. I want to give a huge shout out to both principals, but I really love how with Ross, the principal was able to, because there's such a large population of students and parents and parking, and I love how she does them back to back. So organized, no problems. I just want to give kudos to the principal for an amazing sixth grade promotion event. They were both great. I also attended the Anaheim State of the City address. I missed you all. I did sit with all Centralia school board members, so I was actually, no one from Anaheim Union was there either, so it was just me representing Anaheim school boards for our city. But it was nice to be with Centralia just to see what's happening at their elementary district as well. So we did talk about some of the great things they're doing, some of the great things that we're doing, and I did boast as well. So just FYI. And then I really want to pause and I'm sorry, Dr. Grace, I didn't get to go to your retirement. I was in Texas. As some of you know, my dad had heart surgery. I've been flying back and forth to Texas, and I will be going back and forth to help with his recovery. He did do well, so I want to thank all the doctors in the hospital. But I also want to thank a lot of y'all who I work with, my colleagues. Ryan, thank you for doing a special prayer with your mother while you were in Mexico. Jackie, thanks for the advice in terms of assisting family members right at that age, right? Our families are getting older, and this is the first time I've ever experienced having to step up in terms of being the eldest amongst my siblings and navigating through the healthcare system. I'm learning a lot. It's not easy. And so I just want to thank everybody for all your messages, your texts, and my dad's doing great. He's recovering. And one last thing, we look at numbers in terms of declining enrollment, and we know that people are moving out of the state of California. People are moving into different communities, and it's interesting to be in Texas so much because I see it. And I talk to residents. I drop off my brothers and sisters to their high school and middle school and elementary school. And I talk to people. And I'm helping my families navigate, how to, get on the bus. Simple, basic things that my parents as immigrants didn't really know how to navigate, and they still don't. But as I talk to neighbors, as I talk to teachers, as I talk to people throughout my dad's particular community, they're all from California. They're all from Florida. They're all from New York. So I see it, right? The house is there. And I'm not trying to promote people to move over there, right? The weather sucks. Just saying. But the housing costs, $180K for a brand new model home, right? I get it. But again, the weather sucks, so don't go. But that concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, the weather's terrible in Texas, and don't they have problems with electricity and all that stuff too? So when it comes to the whole issue of, everybody's already reported on the things that I too would want to report on, and honestly, this just goes to show more or less kind of what happens at the end of this school year. Truth be told, I left on the 25th of May and was in Mexico, and I got back about 8 hours ago. So when I was sitting there at the border waiting to come back and cross the border, I was thinking to myself, I'm going to be such a loser. I have nothing to report today, da-da-da. And then all of a sudden it made me realize, I was like, oh my gosh, that's not true. We basically had on the 8th, I had the induction colloquium, which was awesome, by the way, but Trish Graper, she needs to come back and start bringing those chocolate-covered pretzels. Those are legit. As cute as the decorations are, the pretzels are the best. Then I went over to the CSEA luncheon and had a taco bar, stuffed my face. Then went to the soccer championship celebration, which was awesome. I was very proud to announce. The next day, that's all in one day. The next day, Edison and Sunkiss, back-to-back open houses, which were legit. Super impressed with the attendance at both of these schools. Great. Then the next day, or 2 days later, on the 11th, on a Saturday, went and did the lead, which was great. Was able to, once again, get some free food, but also watch some great presentations, which was great. Then I did the Acced dinner and celebrated Matthew Slesser and Dr. Mary Grace. We definitely had a great representation in Anaheim Elementary there. It always makes me so proud when we're there because we're truly the loudest and most spirited, and it's great, and it shows. Everybody's like, dang, you guys are fun. Yeah, you don't even know. And then, of course, the 17th, Dr. Mary Grace's celebration, which was great here over at the district. And then, like I mentioned, I left, and I went over to Mexico, and I've been in Mexico since. However, I was able to relax and, hang out and get a nice tan and stuff. But I also worked as well, just because of the fact that it didn't stop, just because of the fact that we were still doing our negotiations and whatnot in regards to our new superintendent. And so we're very proud, we're very excited, and that concludes my report. So,
Mr. Ellis, may I have privilege, please, for one additional
yeah,
comment?
sure, go ahead.
Dr. Downing, I didn't mean to overlook you. Somehow in my notes, I skipped being at your council recognition, and I just wanted to say it was great to see that. Well-deserved, and congratulations, and thank you.
Great. And don't forget about the fiesta this Friday for Dr. Downing here at the district office. Any future agenda items for the 26th?
I just noticed that AUHSD's food services folks were here. I think we also wanted to update in terms of food. And I think, Mark, you asked that in our last board meeting in terms of updates with regards to food. And I still want to know update about chocolate milk.
All right. So anything else? All right. I adjourn the meeting at 8:33.